we can now all agree that the moral crimes committed here by Ryan Reynolds against Justin Baldoni have amounted to high treason at all. I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaint, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint.
Blake Lively has found herself in a labyrinth of public scrutiny and legal entanglements that seems to grow darker and more convoluted with each passing week. What started as whispers on the set of It Ends With Us has spiraled into an all-out war, one that's being fought not just in courtrooms but in the unforgiving arena of public opinion. And let's be clear, this is no ordinary celebrity spat. This is a high-stakes chess game where every move, every lawsuit, every social media post, every strategic PR stunt feels like it could either salvage a reputation or destroy it entirely.
Is creepy Baldoni getting close to her, obviously making small chatter not in character so as not to make the scene, which didn't require dialogue, awkward.
So, the latest bombshell? Blake's attempt to dismiss Justin Baldoni's massive defamation lawsuit, a move that on paper was supposed to showcase her as a fearless advocate for victims standing up against retaliation. But in reality, it's looking more like an act of desperation, a frantic bid to regain some sort of control in a situation that's spiraling beyond even her tightly managed grasp. Her legal team is banking on a California statute designed to protect individuals who speak out about harassment, arguing that Baldoni's lawsuit is nothing more than a vengeful counterattack aimed at silencing her. On the surface, it's a bold play, one that paints her as a whistleblower fighting for justice. But dig a little deeper, and the cracks start to show.
That Justin won't be bullied by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So his lawyer told us that their recent court filings show how scared they...
Baldoni's team has come out swinging, accusing her of weaponizing this law to shield herself from accountability. Their argument? That this isn't about protecting victims. It's about Lively dodging responsibility for making what they claim are baseless allegations. And here's where it gets even murkier. Baldoni's lawyer has been relentless in the media, stating in no uncertain terms that they have receipts, documents, footage, and evidence they claim will expose Lively's accusations as fabricated. The subtext here is chilling. They're not just out to clear Baldoni's name, they want to dismantle Lively's credibility piece by piece. It's a brutal, gloves-off legal slugfest, and neither side seems willing to blink first.
So I'm just going to very quickly, before I give you all of the tea that I got over the weekend, I'm going to go over the biggest revelations from the filing.
But let's not forget the collateral damage in this legal tug-of-war, because while these courtroom battles rage on, the public narrative surrounding Blake is shifting, and not in her favor. Enter Talia Spencer, a storyboard artist who worked on It Ends With Us, and whose recent interview with 60 Minutes Australia has added a whole new layer of complexity to this already tangled web. Spencer didn't hold back, describing Baldoni as a kind and respectful director whose vision for the film was, in her words, compromised by Lively's overreach. She painted a picture of a power struggle where Lively allegedly tried to wrest creative control from Baldoni, leveraging his so-called kindness as a weakness. And for those who followed the trajectory of this story, Spencer's words hit like a thunderclap. Because if she's to be believed, this isn't just a legal battle, it's a tale of clashing egos, blurred boundaries, and a film set that became a battleground for dominance.
Now to the ongoing Hollywood drama everyone is talking about, the legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
And here's the kicker, Spencer's claims aren't just an isolated opinion. Other crew members have started to speak out, some anonymously, echoing similar sentiments. They describe a set fraught with tension, where creative decisions were constantly in flux and where Lively's influence loomed large over every aspect of production. While none of these testimonies have been verified, they're enough to make you wonder how much of this legal chaos is rooted in unresolved conflicts that festered during the making of this film, and more importantly, how much of it could have been avoided.
But yeah, it's just getting super nasty, and it seems like he's not cowering to this attempted gag order.
Yeah, I don't really understand Blake Lively.
What's worse, the court of public opinion is proving to be just as unforgiving as the actual courts. If Blake had hoped to win back some goodwill with a carefully orchestrated image rehab campaign, it's safe to say it's not going according to plan. Case in point, the now infamous donut shop incident. What was supposed to be a charming, down-to-earth PR moment turned into yet another fiasco when photos surfaced of Blake working behind the counter without a hairnet, sparking a minor health code scandal. The Wilton Health Department received multiple complaints, the shop's Yelp page was bombarded with negative reviews, and the whole thing quickly devolved into a social media feeding frenzy. Blake's team tried to dismiss it as an overblown reaction fueled by trolls, but the damage was done. To her critics, it wasn't just a misstep. It was emblematic of a broader pattern of miscalculation and tone deafness.
And we also need to stop being so ADHD where we're only into stories at the very beginning of them and we never see them through. Like, we need to bring back true investigative reporting.
And then there's the resurfaced interview that's got everyone talking. In it, Blake casually admitted to improvising a scene in A Simple Favor, where she grabbed her co-star Henry Golding in an intimate way. At the time, it was framed as a quirky anecdote, a testament to her commitment to her character. But in the context of her current lawsuit against Baldoni, where she's accusing him of improvising scenes that crossed boundaries, the story has taken on a much darker tone. Critics have been quick to call her out for what they see as blatant hypocrisy, pointing out that her actions in the past don't exactly align with the principles she's now claiming to stand for. And while Henry Golding has publicly stated that he was fine with the improvisation, the damage to Blake's image is already done. Because in the court of public opinion, perception often matters more than reality.
But this is such a interpretation of perspective, because I watched the footage, and I'm sure we all have, and it's very easy.
Even Hollywood insiders, who typically close ranks around their own, are beginning to distance themselves. Paul Feig, the director of A Simple Favor, has come out in support of Blake, praising her creativity and collaborative spirit. But his words have been met with skepticism, with many questioning whether his defense is less about standing by Blake and more about protecting his own reputation. And let's not ignore the whispers that some of Blake's former allies in the industry are quietly reevaluating their associations with her. Because in Hollywood, where reputations are currency, even the hint of controversy can be enough to make people start looking for the nearest exit.
Like I said, this feels a little bit like a cop-out, and I think it's more likely that what she's doing here is trying to stay out of it. This is the Taylor Swift movement. This is likely a legal strategy. I don't want to be involved in this case.
But perhaps the most telling sign of how far Blake's star has fallen is the way she's being discussed online. Once hailed as a style icon and a role model, she's now the subject of countless think pieces dissecting her every move. Critics accuse her of being manipulative, of trying to control the narrative through carefully curated social media posts and PR stunts. And while her fans are quick to defend her, the cracks in her once impenetrable image are becoming harder to ignore. Because for all her attempts to position herself as a victim of retaliation, the narrative that's gaining traction is one of a woman whose ambition and hubris may have gotten the better of her. And yet, for all the headlines and hot takes, one question lingers. How much of this is about justice, and how much is about revenge? Because as the lawsuits pile up and the allegations grow increasingly sensational, it's becoming clear that this isn't just about what happened on the set of It Ends With Us. This is about power, control, and two people who seem determined to destroy each other, no matter the cost. And while Blake may have hoped to emerge as a champion for victims, the reality is looking far messier and far more damaging than she ever could have anticipated.
Promise. First and foremost, I should tell you that I have a major scoop regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their newest legal plan, or something that they were attempting.
What's unfolding here isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning. And as Blake's legal battles rage on, the ripple effects are beginning to spread, reaching into corners of her personal life and professional network that she likely never intended to expose. Because when you strip away the lawsuits and the PR spin, what you're left with is a story about ambition, betrayal, and the lengths people will go to protect their own image. And if you think things are messy now, just wait. This is only the beginning. And the cracks don't stop there. As Blake Lively fights on multiple fronts, courtrooms, social media, and the press, there's another battle brewing, one that's far closer to home. Whispers about tension in her personal life have started circulating, and whether they're true or just another layer of tabloid gossip, they're adding fuel to an already raging fire. Because when your public image starts to crumble, it's not just your career that takes the hit, your inner circle feels the fallout too. And for Blake, it seems that circle might be shrinking.
I will say, it is also interesting that the defendants in this answer also admit that they sent text messages. I mean, when Lively produced copies of these text messages that she got through a subpoena, there's really nowhere else to go on that. You got to admit that you sent these, but it doesn't mean that Baldoni and the other defendants will agree to the context or the characterization that was laid out by Blake Lively. For instance,
Let's talk about Ryan Reynolds. On the surface, he's been the steadfast husband, the unwavering supporter in Blake's corner. But behind the scenes, rumors are swirling of cracks in their picture-perfect marriage. Some insiders claim the stress of the legal battles has seeped into their personal lives, creating tension that even their carefully curated social media posts can't mask. And it's not just the lawsuits. The backlash against Blake has put Ryan in a precarious position, caught between defending his wife and maintaining his own spotless reputation. Because let's face it, Ryan has built his brand on being the charming, unproblematic leading man, and being dragged into this mess is the last thing he needs.
With you. Like, he literally tells Ryan he wants to be friends with you. And I can just see Ryan sitting there like, yes, this is exactly what I want, a puppy to kick in the mouth.
His involvement in the legal drama, particularly Blake's claims that Ryan was part of the alleged smear campaign against Justin Baldoni, has raised more than a few eyebrows. Baldoni's legal team has gone out of their way to name him as a key player, accusing him of helping to orchestrate a campaign to destroy Baldoni's reputation. Whether or not these claims hold water, they've put Ryan in the uncomfortable position of having to defend himself not just in court, but in the court of public opinion. And while Blake's team insists Ryan's involvement has been exaggerated, the damage is already done. The Golden couple's united front has started to show fractures, with some sources claiming that Ryan has quietly expressed frustration over how this entire ordeal is playing out.
When did we first meet?
We met on the set in 2008 when we were filming X-Men Origins Wolverine.
You were in that.
I had no idea. God,
I
wow.
was in that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I didn't
amazing.
speak to you at the time because you were not famous at all, but...
Adding to the speculation, there are whispers within industry circles that the two may even be living separate lives behind closed doors. While they've made routine public appearances together, insiders claim that these moments are carefully orchestrated, more about damage control than genuine solidarity. One source close to the couple has gone so far as to suggest that Ryan is exhausted by the constant drama, allegedly telling friends that what started as a professional dispute has now consumed their personal lives. The strain, it seems, is no longer something they can hide behind their trademark banter and red carpet smiles. More troubling are the rumors that their disagreements have escalated behind the scenes, with some alleging that Ryan has urged Blake to settle the lawsuits quietly to avoid further negative press. But Blake, known for her fiercely independent streak, has reportedly refused, insisting that she's fighting not just for herself, but for broader principles. This tension, according to insiders, has led to heated arguments, with Ryan supposedly questioning whether the public and financial toll of the legal battle is worth the cost to their family's happiness. If true, it's a far cry from the united front they've always projected. What's more, eagle-eyed fans have pointed out subtle shifts in their public interactions. Gone are the playful Instagram comments and light-hearted jabs that once defined their relationship online. Instead, their social media presence has taken a noticeable turn, with Ryan focusing more on his business ventures and Blake posting cryptic, introspective messages. For a couple who once seemed to thrive on their ability to laugh at themselves, the absence of that humor speaks volumes. And while neither has addressed the divorce rumors directly, the silence is only fueling speculation that all is not well in paradise.
Liz Plank was out, instantly said she quit, a show of support and solidarity with Blake after everything dropped, and people began looking into.
And it's not just Ryan who might be pulling back. Let's not forget Blake's high-profile friendships, many of which have been eerily silent throughout this controversy. Chief among them, Taylor Swift. Once one of Blake's closest confidants, Taylor has been conspicuously absent from the narrative, and her silence has not gone unnoticed. The two were famously close, with Blake and Ryan even making appearances at Taylor's exclusive gatherings and featuring in her social media posts. But in the months since this scandal erupted, Taylor hasn't said a word in support of her friend. No cryptic Instagram captions, no subtle likes on Blake's posts. Some fans have speculated that Taylor's decision to stay quiet is strategic, a move to avoid being dragged into the mess. After all, Taylor is no stranger to controversy herself, and aligning too closely with Blake right now could risk tarnishing her own carefully rebuilt reputation. But others are whispering about a deeper rift, one that started long before the lawsuits. Could it be that Taylor, always hyper-aware of her public image, saw the writing on the wall and decided to distance herself before things got worse? If that's the case, it's a damning sign of just how toxic this situation has become. But Taylor isn't the only one keeping her distance. Industry insiders are starting to speculate that Blake's network of allies is quietly thinning. Producers, directors, and even former co-stars are reportedly hesitant to publicly back her, afraid of being tainted by association. Some have even suggested that Blake's reputation as a creative force on her projects, once seen as a strength, is now being reinterpreted as overbearing and difficult. And while Paul Feig has come out in her defense, his glowing words have done little to stem the tide of criticism. If anything, they've only fueled speculation that Blake is scrambling to control the narrative, enlisting anyone willing to speak on her behalf to counteract the mounting backlash.
Well, I do think the damages for Baldoni could be very considerable, definitely in the 100 million range or above that, which is obviously problematic.
And here's where things get even murkier. Behind the scenes, there are rumors of power plays and shifting loyalties. Some sources claim that Blake has been leaning heavily on her publicist and legal team to salvage what's left of her image, pushing them to go on the offensive against Baldoni and his camp. But this aggressive approach may be backfiring. Reports suggest that even within her own team, there's growing concern that Blake's tactics are only making things worse. The constant stream of cryptic social media posts, the high-profile PR stunts, like the ill-fated donut shop appearance, are being seen as desperate attempts to distract from the real issues. And while Blake may still have a loyal fan base, the cracks in her support system are becoming harder to ignore. And let's not overlook the broader implications of this drama. The entertainment industry is watching this unfold with rapt attention, and not just because of the salacious details. This is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of how quickly things can unravel when personal and professional worlds collide. For years, Blake Lively was seen as untouchable, a style icon, a savvy entrepreneur, a beloved actress with a seemingly perfect life. But now, her brand is under siege, and the fallout is a stark warning to others in the industry about the dangers of flying too close to the sun.
Dude, he posted the receipts. He's like, remember our text exchange? Bah, bah,
how about she told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding? And then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone usually just bows down.
Because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryle Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list. Like, they're the queen.
Even as Blake continues to fight back, the question remains, how much longer can she hold on? With every new revelation, every leaked text or insider confession, the walls seem to be closing in. And while she's managed to keep the focus on her legal battle with Justin Baldoni, the ripple effects of this scandal are spreading far beyond the courtroom. Relationships are fraying, alliances are shifting, and the very foundation of Blake's carefully constructed image is beginning to crumble. So, what do you think? Is Blake Lively the victim of a ruthless smear campaign, or is she playing a dangerous game of her own making? Are her marriage and friendships collateral damage, or is there something deeper at play here? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's most shocking scandals. See you in the next one.